It's Dean the General from 3 of a Kind with another WWF tier list, the new generation. We're not going to do any categories this time, just least important up to the best. Starting with Jerry the King Lawler, a great commentator, not much of a wrestler in the World Wrestling Federation. Next is Doink the Clown, who as Matt Borne was in the first WrestleMania. Tammy Sytch, better known as Sunny, started in 1994 and was arguably the first diva in the company's history. She was really just a manager. was pretty famous during the 90s, and as Mike Rotundo had won the tag team championship a couple times in the previous decade. Lex Luger debuted as a narcissist and left within a couple of years without doing very much. The Big Bossman started in the late 1980s, part of the Twin Towers, leaving in '93 and came back 5 years later. He was definitely at his peak during the early 90s. Martel worked for the company during the early 80s, returning a few years later as a tag team champion. When he turned heel and eventually became the Model, he was arguably at his best during this era. Sid was around for a large portion of the 90s, although was never a great wrestler. He died recently. Shawn Michaels was pretty young when he started in 1993 as 1-2-3 Kid. He left in 1996, returning a couple of years later as X-Pac, which arguably was the start of his greatest period. Lawler had been pretty famous before WrestleMania 1, returning when the Gulf War started. He won the World Heavyweight Championship from Ultimate Warrior, losing to Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania 7. He eventually became commissioner of the company. Alundra Blaze was only around for about 3 years, winning the women's title that many times. Dustin Rhodes, better known as Goldust, was easily the most interesting character of this era. He was part of Roddy Piper's last WrestleMania match in 1996. Ric Flair, better known as Nature Boy, was arguably the greatest in NWA/WCW, best known for losing the World Heavyweight title to Randy Macho Man Savage at WrestleMania 8. Yokozuna was definitely an important part of the company from 1992 until leaving in '95. He is best known for winning and losing at WrestleMania 9, arguably their worst for a long time. Kevin Nash was known as Diesel during the mid-1990s, headlining WrestleMania 11 with Shawn Michaels. The sorely missed Owen Hart debuted as the Blue Blazer during the late 80s, arguably peaking at WrestleMania 10 when he defeated his brother, Bret. He met his untimely death during a pay-per-view in 1999 called Over the Edge. Scott Hall was known as Razor Ramon and was the most charismatic figure in the company during the first half of the 1990s. He was Intercontinental Champion for a while and was victorious in the very first ladder match at WrestleMania 10 with Shawn Michaels. First place has to go to Undertaker, whose real name is Mark Calloway. He is best known for being undefeated at WrestleMania until Brock Lesnar finally broke the streak. His partner in crime for many years was manager Paul E. Bearer. Check out 3 of a Kind for other videos, especially on pop and rock music. Subscribe, comment, like. Thanks again for watching.